Is there someone else who would like to ask a question? Yes. Yes.
Gordon Thompson, Monroe. I'd like to ask each of you how you understand personal property rights, what rights you have to do different things on your own property.
The question is to please describe your philosophy about personal property rights. Is that correct? Yes. We start with Tutor on.
Well, I'm a strong believer in personal property rights. I own a lot of ag land out here north of town, and as a Republican, I also believe in their platform, and they are very strong in personal rights of property and water and things of that nature. If you have and you own your own land, you ought to be able to do what you want to do on your land. I know this has been kind of one of them issues that has concerned everybody. We would hope that the neighbors would be respectful enough that if you've got a beautiful home there, that they don't come in and tear out and have a home there and they drop out a motor on the front driveway. But they do have that right. That's their property, and they own that. It's water is the same thing. I have water rights, and for somebody to tell me what I can do and what I can't do with that water, I think as a farmer and a background with farm background, I think you'd probably see some pitchforks and shovels coming out of the back of the truck telling me I can't irrigate with my water. So I am very strong for being able to use property rights. Thank you.
Just like the city has zoning ordinances and maps, the county does also. Our entire county is mapped out in different zones, and in those zones, different things are permitted. If you apply to build a structure, a home, it's got to be in the proper zone. And Tudor's absolutely right. If you've met the obligation, it does become your right to build on that property. Sometimes there's a fine line, and it's very subjective as to with what we can do on our property and what our own personal property rights, how far they go. It's a fine line, and when you start to infringe on your neighbors. We've got several examples. We've had a motocross track recently. It's zoned property. They can do that, but yet the noise and the dust and the commotion, it bothers the neighbors. So it puts a commissioner sometimes in a tough spot. Sometimes you have to be a judge, and I'd never want to be a judge because sometimes it is hard to do. But mainly, I think the bottom line is we have to follow our zoning regulations in anything that we do. If a person's property is zoned for the activity they want, then they should have the right to do so.
I am a strong advocate of private property rights. I think that's what the land of the free, living in America, is all about. But obviously, we have to exercise those rights within the existing laws, rules, and regulations. I think our power plant is a good example. We zone and put out ordinances so that things are proper and planned and orderly. If a company buys their property that they want to build a power plant on, willing buyer, willing seller, it's properly zoned. If they go through all of that process, I think we are in error to stop them in the middle. The place to do that is have the ordinances in place before. If I was to build a home and I get the permit, I don't know if I want the neighbors voting whether they want me to or not. So there are ways to have planned and orderly growth, and the proper things we do then with our ordinances. But I am a strong advocate of private property rights, and it is difficult when a situation like Gary brought up. I know that we've had a lot of farms people move in next to them and then they complain about them baling hay at midnight, or the dairy smelling. It becomes difficult, but we need to stick with the basics, and willing buyer, willing seller, and having our rules and our laws and our ordinance so that we are consistent and fair to everyone and treat every situation consistently. Thank you.
Not enough time for this good question. Okay, property rights. I think my mind quickly goes to the town of Sigurd. For 10 years, they have property rights, but they were not being listened to by our present county commission when they asked for certain conditions to be met, to be listened to. They did not want the coal power plant built right within less than a mile of their homes. This is what personal property rights are all about. This is a nuisance close by to people. Talk about protecting personal property rights. Wow. Okay, when I am elected as a county commissioner, I will listen to the people in every single town. I will meet with them before we make decisions, taking official action. I will find out what's in the best interest, health, welfare, and safety of the people, while considering our tax base and the need for jobs. You know, the farmers, how much time? Okay, the farmers protested because of their water rights problem, the fear of loss of water. The farmers protested the coal power plant with the state engineer's office. They were ignored, even when the farmers appealed for fear of loss of their very water, their livelihood. And our county commission did not step in, protecting the health, welfare, and safety of our people. Every county commissioner is elected to exercise police powers, and when they fail to do that, they have failed to do their duty to the people.
That's a good question. It brings me back to my first agenda, prior to my agenda, which is the property tax. I too have a strong respect for private property. I think our guiding principle in doing any activity with regard to people's property is to use the Bible as our guide and do unto others as you would have them do to you. And that's where our most stem from anyway. So that would be my guiding principle.
Just one question on that.
Yes, it's yours. 30 seconds.
Okay, I just want to clarify that the water, it's not a county issue here. The water is owned by the state of Utah. And if the farmers have a problem with the water, they need to take it up with the state, not the county. The water is until it gets into the irrigation system, is not controlled by the farmers. Just want to clarify that.
And that is correct, my friend Tudor. But also, the county commission has taken an oath to protect the health, welfare, and safety of the people. The coal power plant is in the hands of the county commissioners, and they wanted to approve it. They kept pushing it, despite the cries of our farmers to the state that were ignored by them. Even the county ignored our own farmers.
Any more rebuttals on that question? Is there another question? Yes.
My name is Roy Vance. I've lived here. I've lived here all my life. I've seen some ups and downs, and some woo-hoos going around, having to deal with the county, but there's some questions I'd like to ask just people up here. What distinguishes your attitude towards the county, and what distinguishes you from each other as far as what makes you think that you're more better than everybody else to fulfill this role?
Okay, let me restate the question so I can hear it in the summary. I believe the question you asked is please tell us what distinguishes you from the other candidates and why you do a better job. Is that
Yes.
the question?
Thank you.
And we start with Mr. Mason.
I think the biggest thing that would distinguish me from my opponent is the experience that I've had the past few years in serving as a county commissioner. It takes a while to learn the duties and the job responsibilities that come along with this position. And I feel like that I have the experience and the skills necessary that it would take to serve another term, and that would be the biggest thing that I can see that would set me apart from my opponent.
What distinguishes me from the rest of the candidates or my opponents? I believe it is my broad experience, the 40 years that I've worked. 30 of that was in the natural resource field. I understand public lands. I understand ecosystems, the plant communities, the soil, the watersheds. I deal with federal and state land managers and private landowners, and have done on a day-to-day basis for some 30 years. I know how to talk their jargon. I understand what they do. I know I can be effective as a county commissioner in dealing with public land issues. I also was fortunate to be the Resource Conservation and Development Coordinator. 10 years, I had valuable experience as a partner with the 6 County Association of Governments, working directly with cities and counties. One of the valuable experiences when Hanksville became a brand new city. They didn't know where to go, what to do, or how to even start. All of that experience has gave me an opportunity to understand government. I had valuable experience in economic development. Economic development is a tough area. It is hard to get desirable jobs to come here that everybody else wants. We have to be creative. We work with the existing effort that has been outstanding, and I think together we can come up with the few areas where Sevier County can exploit their strengths and get the edge over the other counties going for those good companies. Thank you.
For my worthy opponent, Gary Mason, will have more experience than Elaine Bonavita. You may have more years on the county commission, Gary Mason, because I haven't had any yet. I haven't got started on that. But I have the city council, and I have the school board, and I have the right to vote committee, and I've organized statewide petitions with success. I know how to work with people, state legislature. I get effective, very effective with the state legislature, working with them. I've worked here with Utah State Legislature, in fact, with the right to vote committee, to repeal and overturn the amendment to our Utah Constitution that you could no longer vote on land issues. So I was able to work with the state legislature and do that. But listen to this. My platform is I have brought more transparency to our county government than my worthy opponent here, Gary Mason, has done in his 12 years. With my right to vote work, with giving you the power to have the right to vote on the power plant. What distinguishes me besides transparency in government is I know, and I have done as an elected official, ask many questions, meet with the citizens before I vote on the issues. My opponent, 3 years I've sat and watched him on the county commission, doesn't even know half the time what's in his packet. He has to ask, oh, is there a map in here? And the planning director goes, yes, there's a map. Didn't you see it? When he's voting on deciding whether or not to close the road to our county residents' homes. I will study my packet. I always have done that. So yeah, I have more experience. It doesn't mean take more experience on the county commission. It's just common sense that you listen to the people and you study and listen to the people and call them up and ask, what's on this agenda? Instead of asking the county clerk, how should I vote? Or the county attorney, which they said to me, the county commissioners, we have to do what they tell us. No, you don't. You have to research and find out for yourself what's going on, and then you do what's in the best welfare, health, and safety of the people, and there you go.